Hey everyone, Colin once again, and welcome back to another good, back to Halloween month of October. And I hope you are all looking forward to this. I got another good set of movie reviews to review for Halloween month. So let's get right down to it. Starting with the first one. Now the first one, which I'll be reviewing, which is of Snakes on a Plane. Now, Snakes on a Plane came out in 2006, and despite of its ridiculous and silly premise, yes it is, I still enjoy the movie. I remember I saw it back in the theater back in 2006, and I remember back then when they were promoting this film, they were promoting the hell out of this movie, They really did. They were overhyping this film so much that when it finally came to theaters, people went to, well, pretty much you could barely anybody went to see it actually. So it was considered it was a box office disappointment, despite how much they hyped up this movie. I mean, the film still was number one over the weekend, but it wasn't as big of a number that people thought it was. It made what, 15 million an opening weekend. And worldwide made about almost 70 million on a budget of 30 million. But it wasn't that big of a hit. People were that because the time it was released by New Line Cinema, and you have Bob Shaye or Robert Shaye, was promoting the hell out of this movie, and it was a disappointment though, because it didn't come out as a big hit as they hyped it up to be, Even despite having a lead guy like Samuel Jackson in there, But despite all that, I still enjoyed the film. I still had fun with the film, Despite the ridiculous, silly premise of it, right? Because I thought, first of all, Samuel Jackson, I thought he was having fun in the film. He was having fun as FBI agent Flynn. And also, I think it's directed by David R. Ellis, who sadly is no longer with us. Sadly, he passed away back in 2013. And David R. Ellis, I actually overall like him as a director. I mean, his directorial debut, his first one he did was Homeward Bound 2: Lost in San Francisco, which I grew up with, along with the first film. But then he would later go on to direct Final Destination 2 and 4. Now, Final Destination 2 is, I would say, the best in the franchise. I do. Especially the best premonition of the highway sequence, And then he directed the fourth one called The Final Destination, which, to me, is the worst of the series. But that made the most money of the series, though. And then he directed a film, underrated, very underrated film, Cellular. I think Cellular is a very underrated thriller film. But it stars Kim Basinger, Chris Evans, Jason Statham, and William H. Macy. I thought that's a very underrated film. Even movie director Larry Cohen, who has also passed away, sad to say though, but the guy who directed films like Q the Winged Serpent, The Stuff, right? He wrote on Cellular, which was cool, But David R. Ellis directed the film. And then, sadly, the last film he did was Shark Night in 3D, which I was not a fan of. To me, I thought it sucked. But sadly, that was the last film he did before he passed away 2 years later. But overall, David R. Ellis, he did a good job with this film. He did. I think it was a fun... Yes, like I said, it's a silly, ridiculous idea. And originally it was going to be PG-13, but I think Samuel Jackson said, no, let's make it a ridiculous film. Let's make it R-rated. Give what the fans want. Make it R-rated. Have this silly idea, It was right. It was fun. It was silly, right? It was it was silly and ridiculous. So, and the film was given more mixed of positive reception. It has a 69% Rotten Tomatoes. I think it has a 5.5 on IMDb. I think it was a 5.5 on IMDb. Yeah. But 69% Rotten Tomatoes. But it was still a fun film though, regardless of the silly premise. So the story is we have this guy, this guy played by this actor, played by Nathan Phillips, I think his name is. Nathan Phillips is this character, Sean. He's a surfer living in Hawaii, until when he was dirt biking, he witnesses a murder. The murder of this prosecutor run by this Asian gang leader, played by this character named Eddie Kim. He witnesses the guy. He witnessed the guy kills the other guy. It's hanging up. They have him hung upside down. He witnesses him. He kills him, and then they see him, and then Samuel Jackson comes in, shoots a couple guys. I don't think he killed them though, but shoots a couple of them. And he's an FBI. He works for the FBI, so they wanted to put him like in witness protection, but at the same time also to testify against Eddie Kim. So he agrees to do it, and they're gonna take him on this plane, going from Hawaii to Los Angeles. So Eddie Kim's plan is, which, I mean, come on, what do you think is a better idea, right? Having a plane full of snakes, right? Or having a bomb planted on the plane, right? I think which idea would make it easier to kill the witness, right? But if they did that, we would have no movie, right? We just wouldn't have no movie if they didn't go that route. It would be too easy for the villain to win. Anyway, so he's smuggling all the, especially he had to go through all this plot because go through all this time to smuggle these illegal snakes. All these illegal snakes, which poisonous snakes from like all over the world. So imagine how much of a hassle for it to get all these right. But luckily they had a guy who was already smuggling illegal snakes. So they rigged out they soaked the leis with this pheromones to drive the snakes crazy. Like Samuel Jackson puts it, right? Snakes on crack. Snakes on crack. So we get all the rest of these characters. We have the pilot and the co-pilot. The co-pilot is played by David Koechner. He's been in a lot of films, especially mainly comedy movies. But he's been in a couple of other stuff as well. I mentioned Final Destination because he was in Final Destination 5. But he's been starring mostly comedy movies, like the Anchorman movies. I know he was in Get Smart, stapled to the forehead. But David Kenan, he's been in some other stuff too as well. Then you have the other main character, the stewardess, played by Julianna Margulies, which I remember when she was back then in an early role of hers when she was in Out for Justice with Steven Seagal. She was the girl, the Richie. I know the girlfriend of Richie, right? At the end of the movie. Where the big shootout was. And then she was also in Ghost Ship. Which I was not a fan of. I was not a fan of Ghost Ship. I know my friend Peter Freakout 10, he's a fan of Ghost Ship. I'm not, though. But Julianna Margulies, she was in that film. Along with other actors, including Carl Urban and Gabriel Byrne. But I wasn't a fan of Ghost Ship though. But she was in that though. So she's the other main character here. She's the main stewardess. And then we get these other characters as well. One of the other stewardesses is played by this character Grace, played by Lin Shaye, who is the brother of New Line Cinema, Bob or Robert Shaye. So I guess I must have had a hand on having her star in the film, thanks to him. But Lin Shaye, she will later also star in the Insidious movies in that franchise. I think almost all the movies in that series. So, and then you have these other characters. We have this woman with a baby. These two brothers, which they're flying on their own to meet their mother in L.A. Then we have this girl with the dog. Then we get this arrogant British prick, which, if anyone mentions snakes on a plane, is this asshole British guy. This British asshole, which we know what happens later on with the guy and the dog. I mean, I don't like to bring up the dog because everyone probably has a lot of seen this film anyway, so. But that asshole gets his comeuppance immediately afterwards. Other ones, we get this guy, this Asian kickboxer guy, which they don't do nothing with his kickboxer abilities. And we like to see him like do some kick some snakes, or well, he does one karate chop a snake though, but that's about it though. To save the woman with the dog, like. The woman sees the snake, and the guy does like a hi-ya, kills the snake, but that's about it. He doesn't do any kicks or anything else to the snakes. And then we get the other the stewardess that likes Sean, and this other guy Stuart, which they thought he was gay, but at the end, when it turns out he has a girlfriend. So good part of the beginning. I mean, like, Samuel Jackson doesn't really do much in the, like, when the lots doesn't focus on him until when the shit hits the fan when the snakes get out though. But he disappears. Well, he doesn't disappear though. He's just, we're just focusing on all these other characters. Oh, another set of characters we have this guy, this rapper, who's a germophobic, doesn't like to be touched, and his two I would say not say his bodyguards though, but one of them is actually Kenan Thompson, from Nickelodeon's Kenan and Kel. Yeah, Kenan Thompson. I'm like, it's Kenan of Kenan and Kel, Yeah, that's not a Nickelodeon show I grew up watching quite a bit, with me and my brother, Kenan and Kel. But so they're on their way, and then the snakes get loose. Moving forward, the snakes get loose. They kill the captain, which I think that's the guy who plays the captain of the plane. I think that's the same guy who plays the father in Freddy vs. Jason. To the lead girl in Freddy vs. Jason. I think that's the guy who plays her father. I think it's also the same guy who appeared in the new Sonic Hedgehog movies as the general that recommended Dr. Robotnik in the first place. So I think it's the same guy including all three, including the new one. The third one comes out as well. But he gets bit in the neck after trying to fix the computers. And then one thing leads to another. Then the shit hits the fan when they're all over the plane. They're attacking the passengers. And it does hold up on the R-rated stuff, Now, granted, I would say yes, the snakes are CGI. And you know how much I'm always very cynical, and I'm always criticizing the CGI nowadays. But here, in this case, I kind of understand why they have to be CGI, because yes, how are you going to control real snakes to bite people, right? Especially if it's venomous snakes. So I totally understand why they had to go the CGI route, making these snakes CGI. Now, granted, the CGI of these snakes don't hold up as well. today, you know, these snakes don't the CGI of the snakes don't hold up that well. They don't. But I totally understand. Like, yes, how are you gonna get these? How are you gonna get actual snakes to strike a person, to bite them, right? So, in that case, yes, I understand why they make them CGI snakes. But at the same time, the CGI does not hold up as well today. It doesn't. And so, like, but going back on the R-rated stuff with these snake kills, I mean, a woman gets, like, looks like she was going to vomit in the bag, then a snake pops out, bites her in the tongue, she's like this, like, then this other woman, which the snake basically crawled up from her dress and then bites her in the eye. Or you get this couple that were trying to have sex in the bathroom, which actually the guy in that scene, that's actually Taylor Kitsch. Yeah, Taylor Kitsch will later play Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine, later on star in Battleship and John Carter as the titular title of John Carter. Yeah, so it's funny, like, just before X-Men Origins Wolverine as Gambit, yeah, he was the guy along with the girl in that scene in the bathroom. I'm like, oh wow, that's Taylor Kitsch. Jeez. Overall, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of him as an actor. He sucked in Battleship, and he sucked as John Carter, and he was a not good Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I think Channing Tatum played a much better Gambit he wanted to play. So, but then like the snakes get them, like it bites Taylor Kitsch to the neck, and then one bites the girl on the boob, right? Boob job. And then we get this scene with this other guy who goes to another bathroom to take a piss, and the snake bites him in the dick, and the guy even says, right, "Son of a bitch, get off my dick!" And then we see, like, the guy hits his head so hard against the wall, you see, like, the blood coming out of his head. I'm like, damn. And then the other people are getting attacked and bitten by the snakes. And he gets another gruesome moment where this guy is getting trampled on, right? And this woman steps on him, I think it was on the neck or the ear, and her heel breaks off in him. I'm like, oh, that hurt. That has to hurt badly. Jeez. And then more of a thing, like, the two brothers, the younger brother, he gets bit by a snake, which is a cobra. And then the guy, the male stewardess, the male steward guy, who they thought was gay, he kills a snake, he puts it in the microwave, and he says, "Ha, who's your daddy now, bitch?" And it blows up in the microwave. And then Samuel Jackson takes action. He tases a few snakes with a taser. Although, but the same thing is his FBI partner got bit on the chest. And then back with the germophobic rapper, not Kenan, but the other guy is also his bodyguard. He gets bit in the ass. And then Lynn Shaye saves the baby who got separated from the mother. She gets bit as well. And so a lot of people are getting bitten, and a lot of people are getting bit in this film. And then it comes back back in Los Angeles. The next head of the sector of their division of FBI, their division of FBI, that Sam Jackson calls, is Bobby Cannavale, or if I say his last name, Cannavale, 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 I think I say is his last name, which he's been in other films too as well, like the first Ant-Man and the second Ant-Man movies. I know he was in the new Jumanji movies, the so-called second one, as Van Pelt, which I'm sorry, Jonathan Hyde is a much better Van Pelt than you. But he's been in quite a few films as well, though. And so he goes and gets to find this guy who's an expert on snakes. And so they round up all the dead ones, take pictures to show the guy. David Koechner, in the meantime, he gets bitten, but so no one's at the controls, so the plane is dipping down. And so then snakes break through the barrier of luggage, and they bite more people. including this couple who recently who just got married and is on their honeymoon. And then some brutal stabbing moments. I mean, because these people are crowding on the staircase to go up to the upper floor. They're pushing and shoving each other. The railings on each side break. A guy lands on a sharp instrument and gets impaled in the neck and takes it out. We see he bleeds. Or another guy gets stabbed when he falls. He gets stabbed and impaled through here. And that's where we get the asshole British guy. Takes the girl's dog and throws at this big python type snake. Well, he gets his comeuppance immediately. He gets killed himself by that snake. He gets boa constricted. We see he starts bleeding out of his eyes and his ears and nose as well, until the snake starts to swallow him. Sorry. Just tired, that's all. And then, so they block the snake up with a raft, and one thing leads to another. The rapper guy, he starts to lose it because there's no air conditioning. If they shoot if they shoot like a bullet in that room, then they all lose pressure and they all blow up and die. But the rapper, he starts losing it, takes his gun, but he's just panicking. That's what he is. So Samuel Jackson has to go down to turn the breaker to restart the AC. He with one snake with a spray can with a lighter to make a little flamethrower, or kills another one with a little harpoon gun. And then afterwards, they find that David Koechner is dead because there was more snakes got into the cockpit. So he's dead. And they have Kenan try to fly the plane for him because he played a good amount of hours, which is a flight simulator. Basically teach him how to fly and stuff. And then of course, the famous line of the movie, because they try to get the snakes out, and of course Samuel Jackson says the famous line of the movie: "Enough is enough. I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane." If anyone remembers that this film, it's also that line as well. So after that famous line, Samuel Jackson says, "I'm gonna open some fucking windows." Holds his gun like this. And after he puts it back in his pants, I'm like, he says that badass line, "I'm gonna open some fucking windows," with holding this gun like this, but he goes and puts it back in his pants. I'm like, so he probably did that just to make himself feel like more of a badass. What he does, he uses the gun to shoot two windows out so they can lose pressure, so they can get into the cockpit to let the snakes out, so they all get blown away, which the rest of the snakes do as well. And so Kenan is flying the plane because he flew, because he knows how to fly a plane because he played this video game to teach him how to fly a plane. And then Sam Jackson's like, "Is that PlayStation or Xbox?" PlayStation 2. But they end up landing the plane, and then Sam Jackson's like, "Turn left, turn this big motherfucker left, Troy." And they stop, and then they're both like, "Woo! All praises to the PlayStation." And then Sam Jackson's having fun in the role. He is. He's having fun. Even Kenan too, who I like too as well, is that's like, "Oh, that's who's in the house is this? Troy's house. Fuck Randy. Fuck Randy. His high score. That's my own brother, and I say fuck him." So after that, they all get out. Before that, the snake, Bobby Cannavale, and the snake expert, they go to this guy's house. He's the guy who transports all these illegal snakes that Eddie Kim paid him to do. So he tells them where the anti-venom is. And then when they get there, Nathan Phillips, he gets attacked by another snake, but Sam Jackson shoots it. But thankfully he's wearing a bulletproof vest. And that's where the other guy, the steward of the plane, turns out he has a girlfriend, so they thought he was gay, but he's not. the little boy that got bit. He gets the anti venom. Sadly, Lynn Shaye, she died from the venom. Um, and then Nathan Phillips asked Sam Jackson to go surf with him, which he does. So overall, yeah, I enjoyed this, but yes, the premise is silly, it's ridiculous. Snakes, it's in the title, snakes on a plane. Just in the fact the film got so hyped so much, it barely didn't do anything in the box office. That's why they say it's a box office disappointment, because they hyped the film up so much and pretty much almost nothing came of it. Even though it made quite a bit of money, but it wasn't huge as people thought it would be. That's why people were a bit let down because of that. So, but overall, yeah, I enjoy Snakes on a Plane. It's silly, but it was fun as well, though. I mean, Samuel Jackson, he was having fun. I enjoyed Kenan as well. He was having fun, too. I mean, Julianna, Julianna, I forgot her last name already. Yeah, Julianna Margulies. I thought she defined as the stewardess as well. Nathan Phillips, he was there. I mean, anybody could have played this other guy, right? But he wasn't bad at all. I mean, David Kenan, he was fine, whatever we could give him to do. But the whole idea, like I said, it's silly and it's ridiculous as well. But yeah, and the snakes are CGI as well, though. But in this case, I kind of understand why they'd be CGI, because it'd be difficult. Like I said, it'd be difficult for them to train to bite a person, because all these snakes are poisonous. So I think glad they did with the CGI role, but the thing is, the CGI doesn't hold up hold up in today's age, and that was about, I was to say 18 years. Yeah, I think it's 18 years. Yeah, 2006, 2024. Yeah. But I enjoyed Snakes on a Plane. I thought David R. Ellis did fine for what they was given to do, and but it was still a fun film, It was still a very fun film. So yeah, Snakes on a Plane for 2006. It's not one of my favorite films of all time. I don't hate the movie at all. I mean, I like it quite a bit as well. But Snakes on a Plane, it was still a fun film, still, for given its premise, So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review for Halloween month, and we'll see you next time. Later.